Welcome to the second half of our interview and club meeting with Otakara Kletke. Otakara, you're doing such a great job. Please continue explaining the biome and what it's meant in your life.
I think the biome is important in not just in my life; it's in everyone's life. You know, it's something that lives in symbiotic relationship with us, and it's important for us to understand that it's a symbiotic relationship. And without that relationship, we can function. You know, your cat Kara can function. You can't function. There is not any person who can be without these tiny little microorganisms who are doing all the best they can to actually nurture you. They take care of your cells. They take care of you in every step on top of your skin and inside of our body. And there has been done a project which took about 7 years. And uh, I think like 80 universities were part of it who monitored, and actually for the first time ever in a history, they tried to map a human body, and they found 10,000 different species. We have about 100 trillion, you know, give or take, depending on a scientist, what they say. We have about 100 trillion of microorganisms on our body in 10,000 different species. So we do have a lot to take care of. And in a way, it's not up to us, our own health, but it's up to them. However, we are the boss. We are the farmer who goes, you know, like you said before, I live on a ranch. We are the person who comes in and says, here, my chickens, here you have some food. You know, and it's up to us what we bring them, how well we take care of them. And the moment when you separate this, like I said, it's so much easier, just like it's easier for a mom who may not feel the best about if she's beautiful, if she's, you know, overweight, underweight, or not in the best physical shape. She might not feel the best about herself. But if the same way would be her child, she would always feel best about her child. And so once we start approaching our own body, that it's actually just a platform. It's a farm. It's a farm on which upon lives so many, that lives 10,000 different species of these animals, and we are in charge of taking care of them. And all I'm asking in that book, it's basically, and I'm trying to teach people, it's to just love this farm, and inevitably, because you love them, you love yourself and you love your own body. And once you get this approach, you will naturally give in to these organisms who necessarily don't want to eat a junk food. So it's not, I'm not trying to tell you don't eat junk food because it's bad for you. I'm just trying to say, listen to those who are taking care of you and try to love them. And they're not going to ask for that, because unless you are actually hooked on some drug food like sugar that actually hijacks parts of your brain and makes you act differently. But if you actually truly giving to the needs of those who take care of your body will naturally on its own start craving things and food that it's healing for you, that it's healthy for you, and that it's good for you. So I would say that would be the core of the message I'm trying to relay in a book.
Otakar, I have to say that I completely agree with you. And once upon a time in my history, I remember my cousin looking at me and saying, just listen to your body, it will tell you what it needs. And I responded to him, oh, sugar and sleep, right? So one of the things that became really centrally important for me was, for me, it came in the form of being consistent with running, so I could hear what made my body feel better, what was a harder run, what was an easier run, etc. And it gave me an opportunity to really tune into my body in a way that I just couldn't, because the hijacking had been taking place for most of my life. And I have to say, when I look at what people eat in general, and when I look at what's going on in foods in general, it's almost, it's very hard in this country not to have your body be hijacked. And so I think that it's important for people to find a way to clear out what's jamming the signals of what is a healthy body versus what is a habituated craving.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, I have friends whose children were allergic to the orange dye in cheese, and that was
Mm-hmm.
the only thing they wanted. So in that sense, they wanted like that mac and cheese, that's that bright orange, right? So their body was craving the very thing that was very toxic for it, which of course is what happens with people who smoke cigarettes. No judgment, I'm just saying there's a chemical reaction there. And so to have the opportunity to clear the communication so you can get the healthy signals, I think becomes, it's important to find a way to reset
Very
that
true.
system.
Mm-hmm. That's very true. And some of my points in a book, it's, I feel like I'm definitely not bringing anything new because I made quite a big research into, I love ancient Greece and ancient Greek philosophy. And so I looked into Hippocrates, who every single doctor, when they become a doctor, they have to swear the Hippocratic oath. But I feel that today's doctors, they don't even get what Hippocrates was teaching. His primarily teaching was the really true care and love for the body. And the very first thing he did was to actually let a person fast. He would take all the food out and the person would not eat for a day, 2, 3, depending. So he cleaned their system. And from then on, he started to introducing good stuff. And unlike the other ancient, medical remedies, he was extremely kind. Most of his healing was actually done through a diet, having a clean bed, having rest, and having a clean water.
Mhm.
And starting with very pure and starting, and if you restart, and then that's kind of a lot of ways we can definitely get there, and the body will tell you what it needs. But with a lot of cases, it depending on a person, depends how far, because if you went this far back, you may not have to do that big of a cleanse.
Right,
You can
right.
just jump smart. But if you went, if you went a mile one direction, it might actually take a little bit of time of rebooting. Sugar addiction, it's as addictive or more. A lot of studies says it's up to 8 times more addictive than cocaine. So sugar, it's something that it's unfortunately, especially in American diet, Americans use sugar by far more than any other nation in the world. And, I look at, if you look at what contains in even meat, and if you look at the Polish kielbasa in Poland, it doesn't contain sugar. If you look at the kielbasa, what it contains here in ingredients, it's sugar in it.
Mhm.
So American diet adds sugar to incredible amount of things that sugar does not even historically never in human diet even belonged.
Mhm.
And sugar is one of the worst one that I find, and it's the easiest one to hook on, and it's culturally not only acceptable, it's almost expected
Oh
to hook
yeah, it's everywhere.
children. It's a hook
Absolutely.
children.
It's everywhere. Yeah. I mean, the big celebration when a child turns 1 is the big cake, right? I
Halloween.
mean, seriously, right? So that conditioning goes way
Oh,
back.
every
Way back.
holiday.
And even when people are trying to clean up their diet, half the time, as you've mentioned, they don't even know what sugar has been put in. So the only other thing that I want to say about uh, to add to what you're saying, because I so totally agree, is as a life coach and as a hypnotherapist, like you, I've studied in what we're finding out about neuroplasticity, what we're finding out about depression, about health, going back to what you were talking about with Hippocrates, right, is that our health is in our gut. Our depression can often be as a result of having unhealthy imbalances within our gut. And people, I mean, for so long we had been really conditioned to think that, oh, the mind is one thing and the gut is another. And it's a nice time to be alive for your book and for others to find, to get this information about how we, as you were saying, are one system. And I will say in my work, teaching people how to love themselves is crucial. And your approach is a very nice way to get people over the hump who have difficulty with figuring out what does loving myself mean? What does that mean, right? So your approach is a really nice way to sidestep many of the patterns and conditioning that we've had around that particular issue.
Thank you. It seems easier because it is always easier for us to it seems to be easier for us to love someone else or someone who's close to us than to really, it's almost shameful to turn it against back on our own self.
Well, again, there's been a lot of patterning and conditioning that has really gotten quite myopically shifted and in ways that are not healthy about that. I consistently say, to whether they're my hypnosis clients or my life coaching clients, and I have clients who do both with me, they tell us on the plane, you put your oxygen mask on yourself first. You cannot give from an empty cup. So
Absolutely.
if you're willing to fill yourself up, then what you give is from your excess and not your essence. And then what you give is multiplied, and it's free, and it has no strings attached to it whatsoever. And when we give from our essence, that's just not the case. And that's what happens when we're not willing to learn how to love ourselves first.
Wonderful. Well, I'm enjoying this interview with you, and thank you for those important comments, Christine, because I think you've highlighted some very important things there. As we are wrapping this interview up before we hear from Kara the cat and give a few more introductions, you're a successful entrepreneur now, Otakara. You are a successful author. What kind of tips, what kind of suggestions, what kind of recommendations would you have for someone who wants to start filling your shoes and start following you in your journey?
My number one tip would be give yourself permission to suck.
That's great.
Yeah.
Going back to loving yourself, just be okay. You want to go for something. A lot of times what was stopping me from writing, from doing what I'm doing now, that now I'm absolutely enjoying and having, I am having time over my life. I absolutely do not understand people who put up the posts thank God it's Friday and I can wait for the weekend. And if I cannot work, if there would be people who want to work on the weekends, I'm why don't you want to work? It's the best thing ever. So I feel really fulfilled. But I wasn't. I definitely spent the times of my life when I was just trying to tell myself, okay, I do other things and I'm serving other people and it's a wonderful job and I'm happy to do it, which was on surface true, but it wasn't true to my core. It just wasn't the flame inside me. And I wasn't letting that flame happen because I thought the only really thing I was able ever to do was I was always able to learn languages fast. But I never thought in a second language or third language or whatever, I don't become that good to write, whether it's author or whether to write articles. So, and then I felt I already spent so many years away from my own language that I felt disconnected from there. And I feel much more connected, after the years you feel more connected to the culture you are submerged in.
Mhm.
So to me, honestly, the biggest thing was just to me, just to give myself a permission that the result can become anything as long as I'm just doing what I want to be doing and keep going forward, and just, have like the horse, have the clips on your eyes, and don't look, don't right or left, just, and don't expect much. And I was really blessed. My book, stayed bestseller for 10 months. It sold, it crossed 10,000 copies sold in less than 9 months. So it really did it. But I never put a stipulation on my book. I never wrote a book with, you always hope for it. It's not like you don't hope for it, but it wasn't why I wrote it, and it wasn't the reason to write it. I just wanted to write. I just wanted to have, and I had something inside me where I thought it's a good message for the world.
Mhm.
And I believe this message should be shared. And, the only thing I wished is that it would reach the people it should reach and affect them. But in all honesty, I just did it for myself. And that's the biggest advice, because it is a hard work to write a book and then publish it. It's just not the writing, but actually start it. It's easy. You're just like joyful. You can keep writing for a while, but eventually you run out of the steam. And it can be with anything in life, anything, whatever you want to do. So it's extremely important that you do something, what is that inner flame within you, because it's the only way how you're gonna track through the hard times. Because the book took, even though it actually was, for a book, it was pretty fast. The process took me 7.5 months from the first words to publish. But it still was the hardest thing that I would work on a single project of unknowing outcome, whatever will happen. And if it wasn't that inner flame within me, I probably would never finish that book. So it's really important that you do what you really wanted to do. And to me, I would almost want to say that do something you wanted to do when you were 5 years old. Because then you knew it, like you knew it clearly. And if
Uh-huh.
that was your interest back then do that. And you're gonna cross mountains if it's something that is in that flame, because you will run into these hard times, and you need that for those hard times to cross it and march further and march forward. And then the second time around is much easier. I'm just putting out second book, and it's much easier second time around. So it's only the first time. I always have the biggest respect for the first time authors for actually bringing the first book to the end, because that's the hardest.
Wonderful. Well, a personal thanks to you for making that journey and coming over the mountain. Thank you so much, Otakar, for what you're sharing. And in a few moments, we're going to tell people where they can get your book, how they can get a hold of it, and how they can contact you. How does that sound?
Very good. Thank you.
Wonderful. Kara, thank you for your being here. Do you have some questions for Otakara and some comments you'd like to share with us?
Otakara, I'd like to just say that you and Albert Schweitzer know each other, apparently, because Albert Schweitzer said, I have always held firmly to the thought that each one of us can do a little to bring some portion of misery to an end. So thank you for sharing that when you go back to 5, you get to have fun just like we cats do. We know what we came here to do. People worshiped us as gods, and we never forgot. We have fun with people, and that's what we're here for. So thank you for reminding people to do that, because that's how we bring misery to an end, by living our purpose, our perfect purpose. Thank you.
You are lovely, kitty, Kara, and very wise one. I'm sure you purr a lot.
Oh, yes, I have lots of reasons to. Thank you.
Thank you. Is that Wisdom and Whiskers today? Or do you have any more questions for Otakara?
Kara doesn't seem to have any questions. She just seems to have lots of admiration for Otakara. She
Okay,
likes that their names are so similar.
there you go.
Loves that. She
Well,
figures that they're spirits, they're united spirits by name, even if Otakara is not a kitty cat.
well, I can't tell you what a delight it is for me to spend some time with both of you ladies and you, Kara, today for this meeting. I want to just give folks out there some idea of how they can contact both you, Otakara, and you, Christine, with some of the things you have to offer. Otakara, tell us how people can get a hold of your book and how they can get a hold of you.
So my book, it's called Hear Your Body Whisper, How to Unlock Your Self-Healing Mechanism. And you can find it on Amazon. It's there as an ebook, it's there as a paperback, and it's there as a wonderfully narrated audiobook. So you can find it on Amazon in one of the 3 formats. And at the moment, I'm working on creating an author page on Facebook, which hopefully should be running up soon. It's not up and running yet. So far, they can just find me on a Facebook. I love to hear from the people. Anybody who would have any questions can email me at otakara@hearyourbodywhisper.com.
Wonderful. Thanks so much. Now, I can't leave this meeting without letting folks know that, Christine, you are an author too. You have some books available. You're a coach. You're a hypnotherapist. How can people get in contact with you, and how can people get a hold of your books and your services?
Well, thank you, Gordon. The best way to get a hold of me is through my website. My website is my name, and it's Christine, spelled with a CH, Ristine, Allison, ALLY like yellow, S like Sam, ON, ChristineAllison.com. And my email is callison@christineallison.com. And my book is also available as an ebook directly from my website. It is also available from Amazon as a paperback. My book is called So You Want to Make a Change, and it's a workbook designed to work you through the process of going through a change or a transformation. I'm going to ask you to purchase that from me on Amazon, because all the rest of the people on Amazon selling my book are not authorized to do so. So we're in process with Amazon on that. And it's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much, Gordon. Just for the world to know, Gordon has a hypnosis school that it was my pleasure to become certified through. Gordon, tell them about your classes in your school.
When I get my classes up again, I will be teaching professional hypnotherapy. I've been doing it for nearly 30 years. And one of the greatest joys of my life is to see people like you, Christine, who've been through the class, who've grabbed a hold of the material, and are out there changing people's lives for the better. It just, you talk about that inner flame, Otakara. It just doesn't get better than that. So I am right now working on this webcast, but I'm going to be resuming classes again probably within a year. I will also have links
Wonderful.
to Otakara's site, to your site, Christine, up physically, so people can reach you when they listen to the podcast or they see the video cast on YouTube or the Holistic Growth Club website. Let me tell you a little bit about why there is a Holistic Growth Club, and that's all about you, the listener. I have a conviction, a belief, a bedrock understanding that you are a very special person, that you have things to give. It's my special delight to bring people like Otakara and people like Christine to this webcast to remind people of that, to let you know you're special, to let you know you have something to give, and that we like you. That's why we have this webcast, and that's why I'm inviting you to become a club member. Go to GordonTheGrowthGuy.com, sign up, be groovy, be a growthnik. Get a copy of my free book, get the Growthnik statement, which you can read during our meetings, and a certificate which would be suitable for hanging. Let me also tell you how you can get in touch with us. We have an email. It is karathecat@outlook.com. That's Kara with a K, the cat with a K, at outlook.com. Write us. We'll be happy to respond to you. And if you have your email read on one of our club meetings, you may just be open to winning a free prize from the club. So as we wrap our meeting up tonight, I just want to give a special thanks to you, Otakara.
Thank you for having me here. Special thanks to you. I'm so pleased to be here and talk to you and be part of the club.
Thanks, my fellow Growthnik. Thanks to you, Kara the cat. And thanks to you, my wonderful colleague and friend, Christine Allison.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here.
And as you can tell, we have a little bit of fun on the show, but we also have some very serious content and some things that can help transform your life. Thanks, ladies. Thank you for letting me hang out with you this
Thank
afternoon.
you, Gordon. Thank you, Otakara, for your wisdom and sharing it with the world. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks both of you. Thank you, Christine. It was so lovely to meet you.
Wonderful to meet you. Look forward to staying in touch.
Absolutely, definitely should.
Okay.
Take care, ladies. Good
Thank
night.
you, Gordon.
My pleasure.
God bless.
God bless.
God bless.